Hello and welcome again to our assembly, and it's really good to join with you. Here I am again in my study. You can see all my books on the wall here behind me and lots of other different things. And today we are thinking about remembering and how remembering is so really important. A lot of us have good memories, some of us have not so good memories. But we're going to start today with a little competition. So what's going to flash up on the screen very shortly is a picture of 23 different objects. 23 different objects which you're going to have a look at, and then the screen's going to go blank and you've got to remember as many as possible. So I'm going to flash this picture up on the screen. If your teacher wants us to pause the video so you can have a really good look at all the different objects on the screen. There are 23 different ones on the screen. So they're going to come up now and let's see them. Well, did you get a good look at all those? I wonder how many you can remember. So there were 23. So maybe hands up now with your teacher, without the picture of the screen up. Maybe pause the video and go through the list of how many you can remember. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? See how good your memory is, and then we'll maybe have a recap at the end of it all and you can see all 23 again. Okay, so if you want to pause the video, teacher, and then have a look at the picture now. Well, that was good. How many did you get? As a class, maybe 21, 22, even 23? That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? You know, there are certain things which we remember really well. Things that we remember easily. I remember numbers easily, but I'm not always very good with names. And some people have other things that they're good at remembering, but other things that they're not good at remembering. Maybe times tables, ooh, or spelling, getting your E's and your I's right and everything else. People's names, colours of the rainbow. I always remember that by Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Roy G. Biv. That's how I remember it. Anyhow, we're going to look at a little video today about remembering and how something wonderful that happened in the Old Testament was set up, something physical, to remind the people what had happened that day. So, over to the video.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Joshua. This is Joshua.
Hello.
Joshua was the leader of the Israelites, who God would use to take his people into the promised land.
Yeah, let's do it.
Joshua readied his people to cross the Jordan River, which was the only thing dividing the Israelites from the land that God had promised to them.
All right. Right here. Okay.
They camped beside the river for 3 days, waiting, just as the Lord had commanded them. At this time of year, the Jordan River was flooded and flowing with so much water that it was impossible to cross on foot.
And then the Lord said, "Let there be light." Hey, priest. Yeah? Come on.
God told Joshua to tell the people that the priests would carry the Ark of the Covenant and lead the people through the water. He told the priests to step into the rushing waters.
Wait. Huh?
And when they would do this, the waters would stop flowing.
All right.
And as soon as the priests did this, the water of the Jordan River did stop flowing.
Yeah.
And the priests stood with the Ark of the Covenant on dry ground as the Israelites crossed to the other side.
All right.
God told Joshua to send 12 men from the 12 tribes of Israel
Go get it.
to take 12 stones from the place that the priests were standing. When all this had been finished as God commanded, Joshua called the priests from the Jordan.
We're good. Come on.
As their feet left the Jordan River, the waters came back into place, just as they had been.
Wow. Yeah.
They brought their stones to their camp and set them as a memorial, so future generations might remember the story of how God brought his people through the Jordan River on dry ground.
Wow, they took those stones from the middle of the river and they piled them up, didn't they? In a great big pile of those stones. And they were a memorial, a reminder to the people, so that the children who might walk past those stones one day and say, "What are these stones all about, Mummy or Daddy or teacher or whoever it was with them?" And then they could tell them the story of the stones and where they came from and how the river had dried up and they were able to walk across into the promised land. Is that a great story? And those stones were a physical reminder of what had gone on in the past. And you know, it's good at this time of remembering to have those physical reminders. We might have a memorial stone. There's one of them in the centre of the village in Shevington, and it's got the names of all the men who died in the First and Second World War in it. It's a physical reminder of something that happened in the past. There are other times when we see stones that are piled up and it's a reminder. Sometimes like gravestones, and it's a permanent reminder of who's buried there. So many times we forget, don't we? So many times it's easy to forget what happened in the past. And that's the good things as well as the bad things as well. I've got some things to share with you. To show you how to help to remember things. The first thing is this wonderful picture I have. There you go, can you see it? It's a picture of a tiger moth plane. Wow, isn't that great? And that physical thing helps me remember a wonderful time I had on my 40th birthday when I got to fly one of these. I actually flew it. The man took off and then he gave me the controls, the throttle and the joystick, and I was able to fly this until almost until we landed it. And then he landed the plane for me. Half an hour I was flying that plane, and that's my physical reminder of that event. Another thing I've got is my wedding photo. There's a picture of Jenny and I on our wedding day. Oh, that was nearly 20 years ago. And it's great to remember these things. And when we got married and said our vows to each other. I know sometimes we have other things that help us remember. Here's another one. This is a funny hat, isn't it? This is a genuine Mongolian hat. Now my friend, I always keep this up in my study, and it reminds me of my friend Stephen, because he went to Mongolia for a bit and visited a missionary who was out there telling people about Jesus in Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital there, and he brought me back this hat and said, this is a reminder of what I did. It's great, isn't it? Another physical reminder of things that have happened. And the last thing I've got is my photo album. Now I've got loads of these in my study, and they've got different photos of different times, different places. And in a way, you know, you don't know who these faces are or what's going on in these pictures, but for me, they remind me. That's when Lauren and Ben got married. That's Jenny's cousin, and she got married to Ben. He's a farmer, and that's great. There are other reminders. Each one of these pictures tells a story of a memory. And I haven't got a good memory sometimes. I need these photographs to help me remember those good times. And it's good to remember those good times. Maybe if you go on holiday, you get a little fridge magnet or a little knick-knack of some kind or other, which reminds you of what that wonderful holiday was all about. Or photographs, a physical thing that you can touch maybe, or something special that you bought while you were there. Maybe you've got something which was precious to a member of your family, maybe who's died now, and you keep that very special because that object reminds you of that person. It's good to have these physical things to remember, help us remember those good times. And just like the people had in the story, that had that pile of stones that reminded them of the story, it's good for us also to remember these things and have that physical reminder of what went on in the past. So get yourself little things to remind you, because sometimes in the future things might not be so good, and it's good to have these things which remind us of the good times and give us hope that in future the times will be good again. And in these things we can always give thanks to God as well, because our memories help us to remember the good times and say thank you to God. Even when the times are not so brilliant, we can say thank you to God for those things in the past. The last thing we're going to have is a song by a guy called Colin Buchanan called Remember the Lord.
If you stub your toe when you get out of bed, and you slip in the shower and you knock your head, if you miss your brekkie and your bike tire's flat, if the dog eats your lunch and you step on the cat, remember the Lord. Oh, remember that He is in control. Remember the Lord. Oh, He's watching His children. He cares. Oh, remember the Lord. Oh, oh. If you get to school about a half hour late and the principal meets you at the gate, if you can't remember 1 + 2 and you're busted for something that you didn't do, remember the Lord. Oh, remember that He is in control. Remember the Lord. Oh, He's watching His children. He cares. Oh, remember the Lord. Oh, oh. If your dad is crusty and your mum's in a flap, and you spill the custard in your sister's lap, if you're sent to bed and you don't know why, and you can't get to sleep and you just want to cry, remember the Lord. Oh, remember that He is in control. Remember the Lord. Oh, He's watching His children. He cares. Oh, remember the Lord. Oh, oh. if you're hitting the skids and you're up the creek, if you're down and out and things look bleak, if you're in the pits and you're out for a duck, if you're long in the tooth and short of a buck, remember the Lord, oh, remember that He is in control. Remember the Lord, oh, He's watching His children, He cares, oh, remember the Lord, oh, oh.
I'm just going to say a prayer to finish. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we have memories and that we can have physical reminders of the good times in the past that we can be grateful for. Help us always to remember and to give thanks. Amen. Great to be with you. See you next time. Bye.